want to hear a little more about your practice. We are now, you've taken us on a nearly 7 year plus journey through your financial experiences, knowledge, and wisdom that you've been able to obtain, plus 2 decades of experience working in a financial institution, PNC Bank, and all the different roles that you played within that institution. Tell us about what your financial practice looks like today as a financial coach, as a licensed life insurance agent. What does your practice look like? And who is or what are the types of problems, people you're looking to serve at the highest level?
Well, that's a great question. I think the interesting thing for me that has happened, and granted, I've been in it just since September is when the official launch date. But
Mhm.
what I've noticed is this, that I'm serving two types of people. The name of my business is Foundations City. So it's Foundation City Finance. It comes from the book of Hebrews, and it's the 11th chapter where it talks about Abraham leaving his own country and leaving the things that he was used to and familiar with, because he had his eyes put on a city whose builder, or the city with eternal foundations, whose builder and architect is God. And so I say all of that because I've been helping people set up foundations, and they're foundations that I want to focus, that they're eternal foundations. And when it comes to finances, you can't get necessarily to the next rung on the ladder unless you have your foundation right. So most of my clients right now that I'm working with, the foundation is getting them out of debt. And I'm using the velocity banking as one of the concepts, right, to help them to do so.
Mhm.
And the way that I service them is through coaching, and depending on where they're at in life, we do either 6 months coaching, or I open it up to a lifetime membership of coaching for them as well. And the intent behind that is to really get that foundation solid so that they can do things similar to myself, which is so they can then start funding their own lifestyle. And you can do that through financing whole life policies. What I'm finding is that the clients that I've talked to, in many cases, the only policies that they have established is the ones that their employer is giving them. So if something happens to that employer, well, guess what? The policy also is going to go out the door. And so I'm offering that service in that way. So it's real early, like I said, real early for me. But that's why I'm also on YouTube. I'm offering the market free content. I'm sharing the experiences. Most of the cases that I put on my channel are real life cases of clients that I've either spoken with or that I'm actually working with right now. And that's, again, free education so that I can educate the masses, but also bring awareness to the many, many different financial strategies that are available for people that might want to be getting out of debt. And then on the wealth building side, on generational legacy side, that's when I partner in the whole life policy aspect of it, the services that we're offering through the Keenan Finance team for either term insurance or a whole life policies. And that's when I enter into this, what I consider like the second or third pillar, which is asset protection, risk management, and making sure that people can make the switch from depending on a strategy with like a HELOC. And potentially that's my goal. I want to be able to replace my HELOC with my whole life policy and be able
Yep.
to use that as a self-directed fund.
Yep. That's exactly what I teach people as well, which is like we don't want to become dependent on
Exactly.
banking products, velocity banking, as great as the concept is or can be, it also has its limits. Whereas when
Yep.
you look at properly structured whole life insurance policies combined with other investment strategies, you remove the ceiling, right?
You
You're
got it.
you're dealing in infinites now, infinite different games that we can get into in the wealth building space. And then when we talk legacy and that such. And so I thank you for sharing what your practice looks like, how you're building, how you're serving people, because you're at such an early stage. And oftentimes we don't hear what that early stage looks like from bigger gurus out there in the finance space, where they're telling their origin story at an already highly successful place.
Right.
So it almost sounds like a bootstrap kind of a story. Nothing, not to take away from anyone's story, but it does hit different when I can meet someone that's actually only like 2 steps ahead of me, only 3 steps ahead of me. When I listen to someone that's 500 steps ahead, they're miles in front of me saying, hey, I did that, I was there, da 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 da, here's how I started out. Sometimes the story gets diluted in a way where they're kind of summarized because they themselves don't even fully remember what it was like. There's so many light years ahead. They're now giving their origin story from that perspective. I'm
Right.
asking you your story now and how you're processing and working with folks now, because we're literally not even a year out. So it's very fresh, it's very authentic, it's real. You said 5 clients, not 500, not 50 clients, 5 clients. And so being able to capture that today is beautiful, because then when we do content a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and people watch your this piece right here, this piece of content right here, this specific topic that we're on, your practice, your story, your journey, how you're serving people, to get to hear it from you now versus when you tell it 3, 4, 5 years from now, it's gonna be different. It's gonna sound different.
Yeah.
You're gonna be high. You're gonna be way more confident. You're gonna say things like, "I was there. I know what it was like." You just gotta do that. That. Just hits different for the person that's watching right here, right now, that's about to start. They're 3 months from starting, they're 6 months from starting, they're 3 months in, and you're 6 months in. You're only 8 months in, right? You said September 2024 is when it was like the official sort of launch date. So October, November, December, January, boom, right? We're not even a year out yet. It'll be a year and a couple months.
Yep.
So that right there, I just wanted to really press on, highlight, to say, here's a guy getting on YouTube, sharing his story, being authentic, being real. If you're watching, you're next. Like, wake up, get
Yeah.
ready. Get ready, because if you're not ready, your time will pass. Your time's coming. And so if you're ready, boom, you're going to receive the blessings. If you're not ready, your time's going to come, you're not going to be ready, and you're going to lose out on the opportunity. That's the reality of this, of what's
Yeah.
at stake when it comes to each and every one of our individual lives. There's seasons where like an opportunity presents itself, and not to say that we have to say yes to every single opportunity, but there have been critical points in this story where if he said no here to Dave, then he doesn't find velocity. If he doesn't say yes to velocity, he doesn't discover the first lien HELOC interest rate that would have saved him tens of thousands of dollars. He wouldn't have been able to pay off his mortgage as quickly. There are certain things that we didn't even discuss. We discussed all the good in this, but there's been a lot of obstacles and challenges in this story, which Ben can share on his channel or to you one-to-one if he feels comfortable. But there's been absolute challenges and obstacles in this, such as transitioning, leaving security and going into an unsecure, high-risk environment called entrepreneurship with a wife, 4 kids. Like, that's not easy. That's not even simple, right? You often hear people online, I say this all the time, where I'm like, velocity banking is not easy. It's simple. It's
Yeah.
not easy. It's simple when the light bulb goes off, you're like, boom, I get it. Before, it was super hard to comprehend, but once the light bulb goes off, you're like, boom, simple, implement, bam, let's have some fun. With Ben and your story and what I've been able to witness, I'm like, it's not easy, nor is it simple. This is like another level. And I'm so happy to be able to be one of the first to document it, have it on my channel, because I know it's going to inspire other men out there that have kids, that are married, that have an idea, that have a desire to grow, and they now get to hear from you not a 29-year-old kid, no kids, no major obligations like what they may have. So it's going to hit different because you're saying, no, it can be done. Denzel's right. And I'm a witness to that. This can happen. This is real, even in 2025, even in this environment, because you're building in 2025.
Yeah.